So hello everyone, and I welcome you once again to the today's session over design of RCC and steel structural elements. So in the today's session, I am going to begin with the next chapter, that is design of steel roof truss. Design of roof truss. Okay. So here we are going to design the different components of steel roof truss according to IS 800 2007 and steel table. Okay. So before starting with the design components, so we'll discuss about what is roof truss and what are the different types of trusses available and what are the different types of components of roof truss. Okay. So the roof truss is nothing but it's one of the structural engineering element made up of individual members with equal counteracting tensile and compressive forces. Okay. So it's a roof truss is one of the structural engineering element. Okay. So it will act as a single element. It's a structural element, what we can say. It's a structural element, act as a structural elements made up of individual members. Okay. So it is a compile of different types of members or components. Okay. And those members will have to carry the forces, or they have to counteract with the forces like tension force and compression force. So basically the components or the individual member has to carry the tensile force as well as compressive force. And the purpose of designing the truss is it has to behave as a single element to support or carry the loads over a span. Are you getting? So to the main aim or the purpose is purpose to design a truss. So it has to act as a single element or a single object which has to carry or support a load over a span. Okay. So here what you can see here is a 3D view of a truss here. Okay. So it made up of the different components. Here we can see the inclined component we have. Okay. And we have the suspenders and we have the bottom member. Okay. And it is spaced at a distance of 2.5 meter. It is just for the imagination or the ideal view of the truss, how it looks actually. Okay. So it separated with the number of truss. Okay. And this is the center to center distance, what you can see. This is the height of the truss and this is the span of the truss. So this is the spacing between the truss, the 2.5 meter, what you can see, it's a spacing between the truss, and this is a span of the truss, and here what you can see, this is the height of the truss. So this is just for the visualize how the truss should be, or how it looks when you consider in the 3D view. Okay. We have the one more sketch here. Yes, here. So here what you can see, there are two again the truss, the three panels, first, second and third panel, the three panels are there, and the two what you can see with the members like purlins and without the members. Okay. So that's why it is called as roof truss. It's a structural element. It's a roof truss is a structural element made up of individual members. Here we can see the number of members are there. Okay. What you can see here, we have the vertical member, inclined member, again this is the inclined member, horizontal member. So the roof truss is a single element made up of individual members with equal counteracting tensile and compressive forces. So these elements has to carry or they have to contract equally as the tensile and compressive force. Okay, and the main purpose, as I told you, the main purpose to design a roof truss, it has to behave as a single unit or a single object, single element or single object, to carry or support the load acting over it, to carry or support load, whatever the load acts over it. So it has to support that load safely over a span. Okay, so in other way, if I want to elaborate what is truss, so truss is a framed structure which is composed of different members connected to each other. So again, what you can see here, truss is a framed structure. So it's a nothing but it's a framed structure which is made up of different member, so basically truss is a framed structure made up of different component connected to each other. So here what you can see, the truss is made up of n number of components or the n number of elements or members which are connected to each other. Okay, and connected to each other at the ends. Okay, and the main aim is what, again what, to transfer the load safely over a span. Okay, so this is regarding the introduction about truss. Now we'll see what are the different types of trusses available. Okay, available. Okay, so these are the common truss configurations. What you can see here, there are more than this. Okay, whatever I have shown here, there are another some of the types of configurations are available, but just for the information. So these are the basic configurations of roof truss are available. So these are the typical cases generally used in the construction. Okay, generally used in the industrial structures. Okay, so basically truss is provided in the industrial structures, shelters, sheds, warehouse, or railway stations or bus stations, everywhere. So these are the typical types of truss or the configurations are generally used in the anywhere in the type of the structures. Okay, so we have the first, that is king post truss. So king post truss, what you can see, again we have the inclined member, or we have the bottom chord, we have the vertical members, we have the struts here. Okay, and next we have the fin truss. So this is similar with this, only we don't have the vertical member here. Again it is called as Hovey truss. So it is again similar to this. So generally the configuration will, again it is similar to each other. Okay, slightly they will be different in the types of configurations. Okay, then we have the attic truss, or it is called as queen post also, and this is called as a seesaw truss. The joint, what you can see, it look like a seesaw. Okay, seesaw truss, that's what is called as a seesaw truss. Okay, so these are the basic or the typical types of configurations of truss or the types of truss what you can see here. Okay, so here we have the 5 types of trusses. So in the market or in the construction, if you go and check, there are more number of types of trusses are available. Okay, or the configuration with other geometry. Okay, so these are the basic types of trusses. Okay, so now we'll discuss about the components of roof truss. Okay, which is again very important, the components of roof truss. The components of roof truss. Okay, so the first component is spacing of roof truss. Spacing of roof truss. Then we have main tie. After spacing we have main tie, which is again the important component. After that we have principal rafter. The next component is principal rafter. then we have purlin, then we have ridgeline, then we have eaves, the next is roof covering, then we have roof covering. So basically we have the components of roof trusses are, first of all, spacing of roof truss, then we have main tie, principal rafter, purlin, ridge line, eaves and roof covering. And now we'll discuss one by one, okay, how these components are used in design of truss. We'll discuss one by one, okay. So the first component here we have spacing of truss, spacing of trusses, okay. So it is called as, the spacing of trusses is determined by the spacing of the columns, okay. The spacing of the trusses may be such as to minimize the cost of roofing. The spacing of trusses may be about 1/3 to 1/5 of the span. So it is nothing but what, the spacing of the trusses is depend upon what, the spacing of columns, because the truss will be supported over the column, so the spacing of the truss will depend upon the spacing of the column. And the spacing of the trusses may be such as, so the spacing of the trusses should be such a way that what, it has to minimize the cost of roofing. As the number of trusses will be more, then automatically what will happen, the cost of roof will be more, okay, the cost of roof will be more. So you have to manage, or you have to maintain the spacing of the roof truss, or you have to try to minimize you have to maintain the spacing of the roof truss in such a way that it has to minimize the cost of roof or the cost of roofing. So generally the spacing of the roof truss may be about 1/3 to 1/5 of the span. So what is this 1/3 to 1/5 of the span? Suppose if you have the truss here, so if the truss will be like this, so this will be our truss, okay. So here, so this is supported over column, this is also supported over column, and this will be supported over column, okay. So what they have given, the spacing of the trusses, so the spacing is nothing but this, so this spacing, so the spacing, so this is spacing. So the spacing of trusses may be about 1/3 to 1/5 of the span. So this is, if this is the span, okay, if this is the span of truss, so this is called as span between the two columns where the truss is supporting. Now this is the truss is supporting between the two columns, so that will be the span, okay, and this is spacing. So what they are given, the spacing will be 1/3 to 1/5 of span, that is S. So generally the spacing will be called as S. So this is nothing but S. So generally the spacing will be 1/3 to 1/5 of the span, correct. So to maintain or to minimize the cost of the roofing, you have to maintain the spacing between the roof truss. Suppose if you want to show, yes, what I can see here, so this is nothing but spacing. So this, the spacing between the truss is nothing but this, so this is called as S, spacing between the truss. And this is a span, so this is the span of the truss, so this is the total span, okay. So the span of the truss is given, so the spacing should be, this spacing S is equal to, it should be 1/3 to 1/5 of span, sorry here, so this is not yes, this is here yes, spacing yes. So the spacing S should be equal to 1/3 to 1/5 of span, It should be 1/3 to 1/5 of the span. Okay. So what you can see here, this spacing, this spacing should be of this span of the 1/3 to 1/5 of the span. Understood? So this is called as spacing. Okay. Now next is principal rafter. What is principal rafter? So principal rafter is what? It is the diagonal member of a roof or top chord of a roof truss is called as a principal rafter. So it is nothing but a diagonal member or a top chord of a roof truss. It is a diagonal member or a top chord of a roof truss is called as principal rafter. So generally the principal rafter are used to support purlins and the roofing material or roof covering. So the principal rafter is nothing but it's a diagonal member or a top chord of the roof truss. Okay, and basically it is used to support purlins as well as the roof coverings. Okay, so if you want to elaborate, so when you have the truss here, so this is called as principal rafter. Or it is also called as top chord. It is also called as top chord. Okay, which is nothing but diagonal, inclined, a diagonal member of a roof truss or a top chord of a roof truss is called as principal rafter. Okay, this is the element is nothing but the principal rafter, and it is basically used to support what? To purlins. It is basically used to support purlins as well as the roof coverings. Okay. Yes, what you can see here. So this is our what? This is our principal rafter. What you can see here. This is the principal rafter. This is our principal rafter. This is fold. Okay. This is the principal rafter. What you can see. Okay. This is the principal rafter, and it is in diagonal pattern. What you can see, inclined diagonal, and it is provided at the top of the truss. So that's why it is called as a top chord, and it is used to support what? It is used to support the purlins. These are the purlins now. It is used to support the purlins and the roofing material or the roof or the roof covering. So the top chord is used to support the purlin as well as the roof covering. So this is regarding the principal rafter. Then we have next main tie. So the main tie is nothing but the horizontal beam connecting two rafters. It is a horizontal member connecting two rafters, and it is also called as tension member for a truss. So it's nothing but what? Main tie. So it's a what? So we have two rafters here. So this is top chord. This is also top chord or principal rafter. Both are same. Top chord or principal rafter. So the horizontal beam connecting two rafters. So it is connecting two rafters. So this is called as main tie. Okay, it is called as main tie, and it is also called as tension member for a truss. So generally what will happen when the load transfers through the members? So whatever the load acting over the member, if the load acting over here, whatever, it has to transfer here. So the member will be always in the tension. So it will deflect like this. So it will be under tension. Okay. So that's why it is also called as the tension member for truss. So the tie member is a purely tension member in the roof truss. Means it will carry the tension. Maximum it will carry the tension. Okay. So understood. So if I want to show here, now what I can see. So this is our main tie. Connecting to top chord. And whatever the load will transfer, okay, it has to carried by this tie. So that's why it is called as also a tension member in a roof truss. So in one more sketch, okay, so yes, now this element is called as main tie. This element is called as main tie, and this element is called as principal rafter. This is the principal rafter, correct? And this is main tie. Okay, we are discussing one by one. Okay, this is called as main tie. Okay, then we have purlin. So purlin is a horizontal beam along the length of the roof. Purlin is also, it is a horizontal beam along the length of the roof, resting on principal rafter and supporting the common rafter or boards. Boards are nothing but the roofing. It is nothing but roofing. So the principal rafter are, so if I want to show you here, yes, now you can see. So purlins are nothing but what? The purlins is nothing but a beam. Purlin is nothing but a beam along with the roof. So what I have mentioned here. So purlin is nothing but a beam. It will act as a beam only. Okay. So along the length of the roof. So horizontal beam along the length of the roof, resting on principal rafter. So where it is resting? अभी ये देखो, ये पर्लिन कहाँ पे रेस्ट कर रहा है? So it is resting on the principal rafter. Correct? The purlin is resting over the principal rafter and support the roofing. Now whatever the roofing will come, it has to support by this purlin. Whatever the roofing or the common rafter it will come, it has to support, that purlin has to support the material. Okay, so this is regarding the purlin. And the next component is ridge line. So ridge line is nothing but what? The top line of roof truss is called as a ridge line. Suppose if I want to show you here, so we have the truss here. So this is a truss. So ridge line is what? The top line of roof truss. So this is nothing but the ridge line. So this is nothing but the ridge line. So this is the top line of roof truss. Ridge line is the top line of the roof truss. Runs parallel to roof. Okay. Then we have eaves. EVES, eaves. What is that? Eaves. Okay. So the bottom edge of roof truss is called as eaves. Suppose again we have here. So this is the bottom edge. So this edge is called as eaves. The bottom edge of the roof truss is called as eaves. Understood? So if I want, so here, so this, the top line, the topmost line is called as a ridge line. Okay, and the bottom edge, the last edge of the truss is called as eaves. Okay, so that is the difference between what is eaves and what is ridge. So here also, if I want to show you here, okay. So this is the top line. So this from here to here, if I connect, this is called as ridge, correct? And from here at the bottom edge, so this part is called as eaves. So this is the ridge and this is eaves. So this is regarding the next component of roof truss. Okay. And the last is roof covering. So the roof covering is nothing but what? So covering is nothing but the material used to cover the truss. Okay. So generally GI sheet or AC sheet. So GI is nothing but galvanized iron or asbestos cement. So generally two types of sheet material will be used. So nowadays no one is using asbestos cement. Okay. Now the maximum are using galvanized iron sheets. So in the before 20 years, 25, 30 years, people used to use asbestos sheets, but they are having some disadvantages also, and the life is also less. So nowadays the maximum for the maximum the structures, okay, the people are adopting GI sheets. So GI is nothing but galvanized iron sheets, or asbestos cement sheets are generally used as a roof covering. So what you can see here in the image, we have the components of again covering. So this is again the GI sheets we have here, GI sheets, which is available in the market, we can observe very easily. Okay, so after that we have the nowadays different types of patterns are available in the GI sheet material. What you can see, bed ribs, V ribs. Okay, then we have clip, pencil, flat. So these are the shape of the covering material as per the requirement available in the market. Okay, so this is regarding the components of roof truss. What are the different components of roof truss? Okay, so after that we have what are the load acting over the roof trusses. What are the governing forces we need to consider over the roof trusses? Okay, so generally the roof truss has to carry the forces or a load. It has to support the load over the span. So generally, so loads acting over the roof truss are basically, first of all we have the dead load, then lie load, then third one which is very much important, that is wind load. So first is dead load, then we have lie load, then we have wind load, which is very much important here. In the design of truss, the wind load is very important. So the first of all dead load. The dead load is nothing but what? It is nothing but what? It's a gravity load, or it is nothing but the self-weight. Dead load is nothing but self-weight. So it may be of structure, the self-weight of the structure, or the self-weight of the roofing material. Okay, everything. So that is the dead load you have to consider. So for dead load, you have to refer the standards, Indian standards, according to, because here the truss is a single element. You have to design a truss as a single element, but it is of individual members, different types of members, individual members connecting to each other at the joint, Okay, so the different member will have the different self-weight, the different category of loads. Okay, so for that you have to follow IS 875 part 1. You have to refer IS 875 part 1. So in that it is mentioned with respect to the material. Suppose if you are using GI sheet as a roofing material, so for GI sheet what should be the dead load you have to consider, that is mentioned. Okay, and if you are using some additional type of material, so that is also mentioned in the code book. So you have to refer, for that you have to refer IS 875 part 1. Okay, for the different types of dead loads. Okay, then we have next, that is lie load. So what is lie load again? So lie load is a type of load whose intensity or the magnitude and the location is not fixed. Correct? So lie load, it will change time to time, duration wise, even the magnitude will change. So with respect to that, again you have to consider, because if you are using that truss for a single simple roof, then the lie load will change. If you are using for industrial structure, lie load will change. If you are using for railway station, again the lie load will change. So again So again, that is a you have to refer again some of the standards to consider the load. So for that, the live load, for live load you have to refer IS 875 part 2 to refer live load, or to find out what are the loads you have to consider. If you are using for public building, if you are using for commercial building, or if you are using for designing for residential building, again the load category and the load density will change, the magnitude will change. So for that you have to refer the standard, that is Indian standard IS 875 part 2. So with respect to type of building, correct. Even if you are using for shield structure, with respect to slope, the slope of the structure with respect to the slope, okay, the theta, load will change. So all it has been categorized into the code book, that is IS 875 part 2. Okay, then next we have live load, sorry, next we have wind load, which is very important again, because in design of roof truss, the governing force is wind load. The governing force is wind load, because what will happen, the steel structures are light in weight, they are light in weight. So what will happen, the wind try to blow away the structure, the wind tries to blow away the structure. So for that, the very important load we need to consider in the design of roof truss is wind load, WL. So for that you have to refer IS 875 part 3, IS 875 part 3 for the design of or the calculation of wind load. You have to refer IS 875 part 3, because the steel structure, the action of wind, it depends upon again type of structure, height of structure, area of structure, size of structure, load of structure. Because a lighter the load, what will happen, it is most susceptible to attract the wind force. If more heavier, it will resist the wind load. Okay, so for that again you have to refer IS 875 part 3, okay, for wind load. But according to your syllabus, you are not going to calculate the load calculation, you are not going to do the load calculation. Load calculation will be done, and it will be the final load acting in the member. It may be tension or compression, or maybe both tension and compression. The load will be given. So load here, so that is very important. So for given forces, you have to design a truss for given forces. You have to design a truss for given forces, means already the load calculation will be done. The required or the pre-manufactured data will be given, or the forces, whatever the forces, it may be T or C, tension or compression, or both. The member will carry both tension as well as compression. So forces will be given, and with respect to those forces we have to design the different elements, the different components. What are the different components? The important components are principal rafter, main tie, and the other interior members. Okay, so you have to design those members. Okay, so regarding this or today's session, if you get any queries, you can write it in comment box. Okay, thank you very much.